been sharing any follower stories, but this one I had to share. It's so good. It's a little long, but stick with it because it's worth it. And thank you to the person who shared this with me. So good. I'm just going to read it because it'll be easier, and she writes beautifully. My mother was dying of ovarian cancer 4 years ago. She went into hospice care at home for the last 7 months of her life. The last month, she became nonverbal and mostly bedridden, which is normal, everybody. My father, brother, and I knew the time was close. I was a police officer at the time, and I worked the afternoon shift. So I would go in the morning to see my mother and father, help out as much as I could with the caregiver, and then go to work. The day she died, I met with a friend who was a caterer, and we discussed catering her funeral at my parents' church. We sat at a coffee shop for about an hour planning the menu. I went home, hung up my gun belt, stripped off my uniform, and drew a warm bath. I laid back and closed my eyes for a few minutes when I heard my mother's voice telling me that she had just died and I needed to get over to the house. I sat up in the bathtub and I saw her standing in the doorway of my bathroom. She looked about 20 years old, the age she was when she married my father. I said, "Are you okay?" She smiled and said, "I'm fine. Go take care of your father and brother." Oh my gosh, I've got chills. I got out of the tub, dried off, put a pair of jeans and a t-shirt on when my phone rang. Now it's midnight. No one calls me at midnight. I answered the phone and my brother said my name and didn't say anything else. I said, "I know, I'm on my way." I jumped in the car and drove 2 miles to my parents' house and walked inside, and there's my brother standing in the kitchen holding the phone in his hand. He asked me how I knew, and I said, "She told me." I walked into the room and the hospice caregiver was sitting in a chair as she had just called her supervisor to come declare my mom dead. We had not awakened my father yet. We were going to do it when they arrived, but I said, "Wait, I'll do it when I'm ready." But right now I wanted to hold my little mother, my tiny little sunken mother in my arms one last time. I crawled into bed with her and held her in my arms and told her everything was going to be okay and that we will be okay. We woke my father up and of course he was devastated. They had been married for 58 years, and about an hour later, my brother asked me how I knew, and I told my brother and father what had happened in the bathtub. My father looked at me and said, "I know why that happened. I know you and your mother and your grandmother are connected to the universe in a way that no one can explain." This part will come back, so stick with us. He said, I know why it happened. I know why she told you." 11 months later, my father had a massive heart attack in his easy chair watching the afternoon news. It was my birthday, and I had gone out with some friends that night. About 3 a.m, my mother woke me up and told me I needed to go take care of my father. I need to go take care of my father now. She told me to go to the house and take care of him. I did what she said, and I found my father dead in his easy chair with the television still on. My father was right. My mother, my grandmother, and I do have a unique connection. Wow. And then she goes on to say, "This was not the first time or the last time things like this happened to me. It's been happening to me ever since I was 3 years old, and I'm 68 now." Wow. And then she writes, "Thank you for what you do. You're an angel. I see it in your face, in your eyes, in all your videos. Oh, you make a difference. Thank you." Thank you. Thank you for sharing that story. Wow, you guys. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your stories in general. I can't wait to see more. I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. I'm curious to know if you guys got chills like the same place I got chills. A couple of the paragraphs gave me chills. Wow. Thank you so much. I love these stories. Keep them coming. Love you guys.